Hello and welcome to the Court of the Edijester. How are we, good peeps, today? Oh yes, it's a lovely day and I'm enjoying it today. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to go out and have a coffee somewhere, sit and bide me time with the world. Right, here. So, you've seen, over the last few days, Stonewall backing out of schools and colleges. Oh, become a warrior teacher, by the way. Links downstairs. Come and join us. I'm desperate for people for September. Here. So, Stonewall. No longer shall we be pestering educational people. That's what they said, wasn't it? Remember? I covered it, right? Scotland. Hold my beer. So here we have Scotland. This is incredible. Now, I said when I did that video previously about the fact that Stonewall were not doing their nonsense anymore, and that it looked like we're beginning to recognise that schools are going to get sued, and that we've had the Keeping Children Safe in Education documentation, which has now removed the T from the LGB, which is the greatest thing so far this year, I think. Every time I think of it, it makes me joyous. And they've called it gender questioning. Yeah, you're done. Okay, so, right, so, any gender questioning people in? Yeah, no, go home. So, it's going to go the way of the dodo, because the kids are wise to it already, the young kids, right? 15-year-olds, bloody nonsense. What was it my mate's granddaughter calls them? The they-thems. And they don't talk to them. Best thing to do with them. Right. So, we're still going to have a problem with activist teachers. And we're going to need parents to deal with that. I think parents is the only way forward with this, you know. So, parents of Britain, it is to you I speak. Many trans people are murdered simply because they tried to be themselves. Pupils were told in an article from The Telegraph, which naturally comes, of course, on the back of the news I've just mentioned. Teachers at school in Edinburgh are accused of peddling myths and propaganda about a minority group in a lesson about hate crime. An Edinburgh school has been accused of teaching propaganda, anything to do with trans is propaganda, to teenage pupils after they were told transgender people are regularly murdered. I mean, what do you, as a teacher, can you please? No. Just, what we're going to talk about today, dead trans people. What are they thinking? Trans people are murdered just for being who they are. There's been a murder. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Teaching resources seen by The Telegraph show that children are being told that many transgender people are killed simply because they try to be themselves in a lesson about hate crime. Why are we giving lessons about hate crime? I want to see the back of hate crimes. Don't you? Let's just get rid of the concept altogether. Off you go. Thanks so much. No, you either commit a crime or you don't. The hate element's immaterial. Nobody bloody cares. And the judge can take it into account in the court anyway. I don't understand why we're so enamoured of that nonsense. The information also implies that the Brexit referendum led to a large rise in racist murders in England. Who's writing this stuff? So we voted breakfast. We voted Brexit, because that means because I'm hungry. We voted Brexit, right? Therefore now we're murdering more people on racist grounds. They're teaching this to kids. It's absolutely beyond the pale. It is beyond the pale. It's like when I got the new Prevent guidance through. The new Prevent guidance came through recently. And they're saying on it now that the sort of baseline for prevent interference or being aware of a problem with a student is conservative attitudes. Conservative beliefs is baseline now for prevent. So that if you're a conservative and you teach your kids conservative values, then prevent's waiting in the wings. I'm not kidding. Go look it up. It's absolutely insane. So, on Monday, the City of Edinburgh Council was unable to provide any evidence to back up the claims, with no known murder of a trans person ever to have taken place in Scotland. I mean, it's just, what should we do on PSHE for the kids today? I know, Morag, let's lie with impunity. Oh, brilliant. Is Morag Scottish or Welsh? You'll tell me in the Dewberries. A parent of a teenager at the prominent state school, which is asked not to be named to protect the identity of her child, claimed teachers were peddling myths spread by trans rights activists who regularly insist members of the minority group are facing a genocide. Have you been genocided? Call this number. A worksheet states that pupils will face an exam on its contents and adds that young people often become criminals because they tend to have a lot more free time. This is real. parents, come on, we're going to need you. We are going to need the parents. The school is a member of a charter scheme run by the controversial charity LGBT Youth Scotland, who's been exposed a number of times for some of its nefarious things that have happened there. Why are we still giving these people money? They've faced accusation before that it's promoting unscientific ideologies in classroom across the country. Well, it is, and at least 40 of them are primary school. The statistics being presented to children are deceptive myths with no context or anything to back them up, the parent said. But the narrative apparently is embedded in schools. While they focus on trans people, there is no mention of the domestic abuse which many women face, or disabled people who are a very vulnerable minority. Yeah, that's because it doesn't fit the party line, isn't it? It's not that, it's them all singing in unison. Love is love. It doesn't help, does it? If you're grooming, little activists for the future in schools, it doesn't help if you tell them about disabled people, which is the only group we should be focusing on, really. So that, we can give them what they need to be able to live full lives. Shouldn't we? Here, let's enable something like, disabled people that can actually get in the room, so we stop having meetings in buildings with no lift, for a start. I've had that, where I've gone to a meeting, gone to a training session, there's been somebody who's disabled, it's on the 4th floor and there's no lift. Only the government building with that. I'm going to get these old, shonky government buildings that were built long before that. And then they give them listed status, so it can't have a lift. I'm like, well, if it can't have a lift and it's got listed status, the best idea is don't book a room when you've got disabled people going on your course. Absolutely beyond the pale. So this individual says, the parent says, to me, it just seems like propaganda and misinformation, which they are telling students to accept as part of a narrative being embedded in Scottish schools. They're shepherding children towards believing things that aren't true, which is the opposite of what education should be about. More than half of Scottish secondary schools and dozens of primaries have joined the charter scheme, but run by LGBT Youth Scotland, an organisation that endorses puberty blockers and claims there are at least 17 different genders. I can't... Isn't there like a head teachers association? Are the head teachers association going, do you think we've made a mistake? I think it's quite possible. But don't say anything. Perhaps no one will notice. Is that what happens? There's got to be a Scotland's head teachers association. What are they doing? They're all mad lefties. Is that what it is? You'll tell me in the comments. Members must agree to follow the organisation to train school staff, and some have rewritten policies to state that parents should not always be told if their child socially transitions to live as a member of the opposite sex, for example, by adopting a new name. The parent said Scottish schools and the government now seem obsessed with normalising the idea you can be born in the wrong body, which I think is really destabilising for many children. It sends them insane, by the way. That's what it does. It sends them insane. There are a lot of LGBT flags around the schools. It's got LGBT flags with that progress, that vile chevron, the racist chevron and the homophobic flag. It's got nothing to do with gay people. Let's just keep saying that, all right? There are a lot of LGBT flags around the schools, pronouns everywhere. A lot of parents and pupils are completely sick of it, but nobody wants to talk about it because they're scared of being vilified. Here we go. It's pure Maoism. The teaching materials state that assigned sex is based on reproductive organs, which for trans people do not match who they are. It adds often transgender people have been abused and killed simply because of who they are. This is insanity. It's insanity on a grand scale, but there it is, still going on in Scotland. God help us all, eh? Right, you let me know what you think in the comments. Come be a word teacher. Buy me a coffee, the usual. Help me keep going, beginning of the month. I'll speak to you later. Take it steady. Bye-bye.